First item on our agenda tonight is item number 2, the 2018 Budget and Tax Levy presentation of proposed 2018 tax levy and budget. Let's get through Zach's presentation first.
Thank you, Mayor, members of City Council. I have one in the audience tonight. I'm going to go over kind of just overall the budget for City of Oak Grove, along with answering any questions that have to do with truth in taxation and what property taxes really mean and so on and so forth. I'll answer questions at the end, as the Mayor had mentioned. Budget review process. So basically, the 27th year, we're just going to approve the budgets for both the general fund or governmental funds and then all of the utility funds tonight. Approve the tax levy, and then any comment on those will happen after this. In December, I will finalize those with the county auditor along with the city clerk, interim city clerk, Katie, and with the Department of Revenue for the state. The major impacts that happen with the City of Oak Grove, there's no significant change in LGA. LGA is local government aid that we get from the state. This year was an amount of $87,000. Next year, probably about the same. Last year was about the same as well. So we don't get a whole lot, but we get something. Para contributions levels remain stable. Para is the Public Employee Retirement Association, so that's what all public employees are using retirement. And then I wanted to add the part of the removed designation of the Met Council land, which if anybody's followed the council at all this year, is getting rid of that Met Council designation for the southeast corner of our city was approved this year. So that's a huge item. Going through the levy comparison, compare 2017, which is the current year, for 2018, where the dollars spent. Overall, the levy changed $0. We had a 0% levy increase, which was directed, which is the 5th and final year of that. Direction of the council has been to move forward with that as much as possibly can, but 5th and final year of that original levy stabilization, basically, or levy freeze, is done in 2018. So basically, what's good to note on this one is we don't levy any more dollars for any more debt. This city in 2018 will pay off their 2007 A bond, and then their 2007 B bond at the last meeting was approved to have an interfund loan within the city, so we got rid of that bond as well. And we still get those TIF dollars, but that'll just be funded whatever those TIF dollars are, and then at the end of that bond, we'll just within the city, we'll just relieve that fund of any debt that it has left. So there's no debt left after 2018, which is a huge thing for the city. The only debt we have is water utility debt. That has nothing to do with any levy. So no change, but just moving of the dollars around between debt and general fund is the major change. Tax capacity. So when we talk about levy, we want to figure out, okay, we look at the levy and figure out that that's going to be stable, whether that goes up or down, but in the city it stays stable and is the same amount of $2,183,892. And then we look at the tax capacity. So the tax capacity is how much taxes we are able to use or how much the city can levy for. And we want to figure out how much total tax capacity is within the city. That's basically our limit. There's no statutory limit, but we want to figure out how much tax capacity the city has. The main increase, obviously, this year was residential. Most of that has to do with River Ridge, along with any other buildings that we had input in 2017 for 2018 tax roll, along with just overall home increase values. As Scott had mentioned earlier in announcements, how much did your home go up?
Over $40,000.
$40,000. So if your home goes up in the value, that goes into this tax capacity number, whether you built something else or just had an overall increase in your home value. That's in the residential number, which is good to be known. Other than that, I just want to note quickly that we don't have a whole lot of commercial and industrial. Commercial and industrial land are taxed at a different rate, which is much higher than the residential rate. So you get much more tax dollars from an industrial property worth $100,000 versus a home that's worth $100,000. You get much more tax dollars out of those. We don't have any of that in Oak Grove. So when I get to the next slide, it's going to be even more impressive for our tax rate in Oak Grove. Any questions on tax capacity? This can be tough to understand sometimes, but overall, just think of it as the overall value of the home that can be taxed. Not the market value of your home. That's how much can be taxed. So here's a big thing that the mayor wants everyone to know, and is pretty proud about it. And I think anybody in the city of Oak Grove should be pretty proud of the fact that we are the bottom of Anoka County. This is a comparison tax rate for all cities within Anoka County. Highest is Hilltop at 98.13%, but the bottom is Oak Grove at 22.5%. That's our preliminary tax rate. If there's any changes in tax capacity, that will go either up or down, but we don't change how much our levy is. Our levy is capped at that 2.183 million. No changes at all at this point since the preliminary budget, and no changes moving forward. So 22.5% should be your tax rate next year, barring any changes from the county that we have no control over. So next is at Ham Lake, and that's 24.97%. Ham Lake is a tough one to compare to, and you'll see on the next slide of why that is. And the reason why is because Ham Lake has almost $14 million of residential property. So if you take Oak Grove's $7 million of residential property and put that against $14 million of Ham Lake, your tax rate's quite a bit lower if we have $14 million of tax capacity in this city. So again, I'll go back to the tax rate thing. The Ham Lake would be much higher, much higher if it didn't have $14 million of residential property that it could tax against. Also, Ham Lake has a lot of industrial property that Oak Grove just does not. That $2 million of industrial is lots and lots of tax capacity for the city. When we compare it to Ham Lake, it's a good comparison, but it's not really a good comparison at the same time because they're so much bigger than we are in tax capacity. Tax capacity rate graphs, this is just a comparison. Each year is done by a different color and then by a different city, just to kind of show the trend of each city over the past 5 years and preliminarily the 6th year of 2018. Oak Grove has been considerably going down every single year. That's with that 5-year tax levy freeze, basically. Every other city's been up, down a little bit, but Columbus is going the opposite way. They're going up, and Lake's going down a little bit. Overall, Oak Grove's line of decreasing is much more steep than anybody else, which is a good thing.
Well, plus it shows trending.
It shows, so that's why it shows trends.
Yeah. People don't understand how hard it is to get that chart to do that.
Oh, yeah, it's hard. It's not easy. So I said, it takes a lot of stuff to make a city go down for tax capacity. Multiple things, obviously, with homes and stuff too, but at the same point, we have to watch our spending as well, what we're spending our money on. Next thing, impact to homeowners, which the Mayor had mentioned earlier that we want to see how much the city is going to increase our taxes. It's actually not going to increase. For the typical home, the average home value in 2017 was $238,000. So next year's taxes go from $609 in 2017 to $535 in 2018 if your home value stays the same. That should be noted that you'll see a decrease of 12% approximately for your taxes if your home value stays the same. If your home value increases, it will offset that decrease in property taxes there. So if your home value goes up 12%, you'll see your taxes will stay the same for the city portion. If it goes up more than that, then you will see an increase in city taxes, but it's not because the city taxes went up, it's because your home value went up. That is key to know, especially under proposed property taxes when you're looking at those. That is our final number. There's no changes that we made to those property taxes, so when you get that proposed statement, that is going to be our final number as well. So whatever your home value went up, if it went up at all, that's what your taxes will be. Here's our funding. We want to just kind of show year over year how much our general fund revenue is. The main change is where the dollars for taxes were put. Last year they were put to debt. 2018 we have no more debt as soon as we pay that off in February of 2018. So all the change, increase in the revenues is because of that change in taxes. Overall taxes did not change, but just where they're allocated at did change. That's $189,000, $190,000 increase. That doesn't mean your taxes increase $190,000. It just means where the taxes are coded to or where they're put when they're brought into the city. Other than that, license and permits went up a little bit. It's just based on trends. And miscellaneous revenue is just kind of coding for those miscellaneous dollars that the city may get, whether it's a donation or it's miscellaneous interest or so on and so forth. Not a whole lot of change, but there is some change in how the revenues are coded too. Here's the breakdown, the graph of where we get the dollars from for the general fund. Most of our dollars come from taxes, 80% of our whole budget. 10% that intergovernmental revenue, that is LGA, and the rest is just licenses and permits, charges for services, fines and forfeitures, miscellaneous dollars. Expenditures stayed pretty close to the same. The changes are transfers out, increased $100,000, and then public safety increased $75,000. That has to do with the sheriff, and also fire wages went up. Other than that, there is no changes. The public safety is basically just what do we need at the current moment, and the transfers out increased in just our reserve dollars. Key changes. What changed from 2017 to 2018? No major changes since September, since we talked. There's a decrease in expenditures from $40,000 for that Met Council comp plan. Increase in fire equipment purchases and projected fire wages. And then increase in services from Anoka County Sheriff and building inspections, about $22,000. Other than that, there is no major changes besides salaries and just operational items.
That 40,000 for Met Council, that was the reimbursement for Met Council to pay us to do our comp plan, correct?
Yeah.
And we estimated,
No,
well,
we-
Half of that. So
Yeah, we
the-
paid-
The Met Council grant was for 20 grand.
Yes.
We've received half of that to date.
oh, okay.
Once we pass another milestone, we'll receive the other half of that. So the city paid 20,000, the Met Council paid $12,000.
So we've decreased 40,000, but really in essence, it's $20,000 of expenditures we've decreased.
Very cool.